My name is Abby Fenton, and I'm the Youth Programs Director for the Will Steger Foundation. And I'm here in St. Paul at the Minnesota State Capitol for our annual Youth Lobby Day in partnership with the Minnesota Public Interest Research Group and our own youth high school organization known as YA Minnesota, Youth Environmental Activists Minnesota. And we're here specifically advocating for and lobbying for an issue known as the solar energy standard here in the state. Many of our youth are very excited about renewable energy in general, as they are very invested in a clean energy future. But the solar issue in particular resonates with our high school students, many of whom are already seeing solar panels being built on their schools or really working towards that goal. So we're excited to see what happens today. We have over 60 young people here, and it's already proving to be a really high energy event.
Seeing young people excited about building a better future for our state is really awesome. What it's most about is building our state's future with Minnesota resources, Minnesota ingenuity, and Minnesota people. We don't have any of the quote traditional sources of energy, but we have great solar resources, great wind resources, great biomass resources, and we have a ton of really smart people like yourself who want to make it happen. Well, I think young people are always important at the Capitol. It's important to see why we do the work we do. You know, the Capitol is this beautiful place. It's the people's building, and I think young people, one, need to know that they have a role here and a place here because their community's future, in part, is decided here.
What we should be doing is cultivating our own energy options here, putting jobs back into Minnesota, and get the money going into our local economies.
So in the long term, we want to have a solar energy standard which would get 10% of our power by the year 2030. And in the short term, it's solar on public buildings is our focus for this year. Youth can get involved in this issue by contacting their state legislators and telling them that they want them to support policies that will help us get solar on our schools, libraries, police fire stations, and other public buildings.
So I lobbied for the solar standard, so 10% of our solar energy would come by 2030. And I think that's super important because it's just kind of with the climate change thing going towards a more sustainable sort of alternative energy, especially looking at how we get our energy right now is importing it and we're not using the resources we have available, and seeing other countries and other places across the United States be able to do that. I just think Minnesota should be able to do that too.
I really think that working with policy and trying to advocate for legislation is one of the most effective ways you can participate in the environmental movement, that kind of has so much power beyond just your own personal actions that it has the potential to affect other people, and that kind of draws me to working with policy. And I also thought it was very important that YA Minnesota kind of brought a youth voice to the Capitol, because I don't think that's always present.
The burden really is kind of on our shoulders as young people. Young people need to, I think, start understanding and engaging in this big, intimidating system. So this lobby day kind of empowers our students to do that. And I think through that, you know, not only is it important kind of for their futures, but I mean, I think it gives them such a sense of worth and like dignity to be here talking to adults like adults. And I mean, and they killed it. They did a great job.
Let's use the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Let's use the sun, and I say it's so bright.